then today what we're going to talk about is we are going to add ail.file, the hash 256, 512, Blake, and also different encoding. So hexadecimal, base64, base64 URL, and then Blake 3. And the goal of this is to add that into a production code base, which is about 28,000 line of code, of Rust code, with the comments. So it's a little bit less without the comment. And the goal here is to do that, such as is accessible via the Lua. So it's a runtime, and then we can code in Lua, and then I want the Lua to be able to call these functions. So this is why it's a .aip and everything. Now, the nice things about that is all the hard work is done in the Rust, but the runtime is scriptable from Lua. So that allows to create some pretty cool stuff in a very low complexity. So that is a little bit the goal here. So again, if you see everything, I think everything should be fine right now. And so everything should be streaming nicely. Okay, so we have 3 concurrent users, I guess. So this is what we're going to do today, and we're going to do in Rust, and we're going to add it to our things. And then these lives here, I'm going to resume that I did a while back. It's going to be fully public for everybody while streaming, and even I will keep it unlisted for 12, 24 hours or whatever. And then early access members, 2 days, and then the live stream indefinitely. So they can find it there. So that is going to be the thing. If you have any questions, feel free. You can join. I didn't say what is that. Join live. It's MS Team. I'm going to say real time. Okay. So that is the thing. So there's an experiment here. Okay, so I will probably shave this one off, the live stream for the members. And now I'm going to go back there. So what we're going to do here today is, again, we have a code base in Rust, which is, and don't worry, yes, it's about AI, but it's Rust code, and it's AI pack. And so AI pack is a runtime, 15 megabytes, and it allows you to create very lightweight custom agents. The point is, even if you don't like AI, it's a relatively cool, I would say, runtime. The reason why it's a runtime is because it's not designed only as a command line, but it's designed much more like a runtime where you can use it as a command line, you can start it eventually as a server, even an MCP server, or who knows, you can even talk to it via MQTT or whatever. Yeah, or you can listen to MQTT. So it's more kind of a runtime that can be used as a command line, can be run into a Docker image and all this kind of thing. So that is a way that I think about this runtime. And in fact, this runtime might also expose a web interface at some point. So if we do -- web UI or whatever, rather to just have a command line, we might have a thing. And that is a thing which is very powerful with Rust, because we can build, I don't want to be too philosophical, but I think the language, the construct, the way it compiles, and everything that makes very solid code concurrently in a C++ fast, in a C fast and tight, really allow us to build almost a cloud architecture in a single binary. And by that, I mean is we can have multiple services, we have the message passing and all these kind of patterns and everything. And so the application can scale quite a bit, because again, to do highly concurrent services is much simpler than with other languages. Even Java, yeah, Java is memory safe, but it's not thread safe. So you can use string builder or string buffer, I don't remember which one, but you can use the wrong one, and the compiler will be fine with that. We say, okay, you can go, yeah, and then kaboom. And the old string formatters, back in the days when I was coding Java, you think that when you do a string formatter, and you say, hey, give me a string formatter, you will think that it doesn't maintain states, and that now you can use it in multi-threads. But no. Yeah. And in fact, if you use it multi-thread, you get some weird stuff in a very corner cases. So that Rust eliminate all of these kind of things, which is it's pretty cool. So bottom line is we have this command line, and this command line allows us to build agent files with markdown files with Lua. And all of the Lua bindings that I have are here. So this is all of the APIs that you can call, and you will see that, for example, for the hash, we can hash strings. So here you can pass a string, and then it will hash FA512 B64 URL. The trick of that is that now you have to download all of the files. So in AIPack, you can have your little Lua script, and you can say load file, AIP file load, and then you will load the file. But now all of that goes to the Lua side. Okay? So Lua is an embedded scripting. It's awesome. It's, one of the best embedded scripting. I think it's the best embedded scripting there. It doesn't really compete with Python and JavaScript because it's not a standalone scripting language. It's when you have a runtime, like AIPack, or like DaVinci Resolve or whatever, and you want to allow people to script your C, C++, Rust, or whatever in a very efficient scripting language. And Lua is amazing for that. I think it's 300 kilobytes. It's amazing. And it supports quite a bit. So the ways that we do it is we do it like that. When you create, I think I have it on top. So this is a concept of table in Lua. And so I am in Rust here. I'm not in Lua yet. But the way you expose a function to the Lua side is this way. You say, hey, you have a table, and then so that's my code, and then you expose it there. And then you say, that's guy, and then you say, hey, Lua, create function, and then you get view function. Your function has to have a specific signature where you take the Lua engine first, and then the value. And then if you have multiple value, it's tuples. That is the way it works. That is a value, it's a Lua value, it's not a CRD value. So very common practice in Rust. When you have something with kind of foreign types in a way, that is more or less generic dictionary type, like JSON, and like a Lua value, then you wrap it under the value. So that is typical one. And then if you go there, we're going to see that we have nil, Boolean, and all of the specific stuff. So it's not really the same thing as a CRD value, but it's similar. And then it has more advanced kind of stuff over there. So that allows us to, on the Rust side, to define object that will be pushed in the Lua scripting within the same binary. Okay? So embedded scripting is same binary, and you have this other engine over there. And so in a way, it shares the memory, but the memory is still kind of separated logically. So that is the way it works. Now, the cool thing about this is that now in our API, we can pass any string, and then it will hash it with whatever things we want, so SHA-56 or whatever, and then it will return the value. Now, the trick of that is we also allow to download big files and to load big files, but sometimes you want to hash a big file, but again, I don't want to go back to the Lua side. So the way here to do this kind of thing is to have the only thing I want to go back to the Lua is a hash. And the hash is very small. And that's the whole point of hashing. And so I want this kind of function, but I want it in the file. This is why I'm saying what we're going to do is AIP file, and then we do hash, and then we do SHA-256, black 3, and then we pass the path, and it will do it on the Rust side, so it will be fast. Doesn't have to go back to Lua and everything, and then it will just return the short SHA. So it's going to be very, very simple. Very efficient, I mean. And so that is a goal of what I want to do today. And again, I'm restarting this kind of coding here, live session coding, such as my member can get it, and also people on the public, the one that can catch the streams, can follow it. And again, I will keep the things for a couple of hours while streaming, 12 hours, 24 hours for people that want to keep the link and look at it after. So bottom line is, going back there, what I'm going to do, the way I structure my code, and again, this is a full product in a way. So when I say production coding, sometimes people understand production with somehow web or cloud application. It's not, yeah? For me, production coding, Outlook is production coding, Office is Photoshop is production coding, ChatGPT desktop or ChatGPT cloud, all of these kind of things is production coding. And so AI Pack is kind of a full product. We depend on it, and other people depend on it. And if it doesn't work, then a lot of people are in a mess. That is my way of defining production coding, much more than the size of the crate or the size of the library, or if the library is hosted or not hosted, and where it is hosted, and so on. Yeah, so that is the differences. So now if we go back to this one, oh, cool. Hey, Adria. I'm sorry. By the way, I'm sorry to everybody if I do not know how to pronounce your name. It's a me problem. I don't know why. I cannot pronounce names of anything except my kids, but I chose very easy names for them. So, I need to waiting for others to join. Oh no, up, it left. Okay, no problem. Someone came and it disappeared, but that's fine. No problem at all. You can follow on YouTube or you can follow on Microsoft Teams. So I'm trying to do both now. If people want to join and have questions and things, you're much more welcome to join. Now, the funny thing is that the URL of Microsoft Teams is too big for the chat of YouTube. So this is why I'm spending a lot of time these days of learning how to bridge the two, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay, someone is back. Welcome back. Feel free to try to speak. You should be able to turn on your microphone, hopefully. Hello, Mick. Oh, I didn't. Oh, my mistake. I didn't check the right button. But now you can unmute yourself if you want. Okay, so now that I am there, going back to the code, I'm sorry for the one here that are following that after, but what we are going to do is all of the script things, I put them in the module script. So this is my way of doing things. This one is always being mean with me. And then I have my Lua engine, which wraps the Lua engine with my little things. And then here I have all of my AAP code, all my AAP APIs. And in fact, if you look at the documentation, this is all, and I forgot to deploy the hash here. I need to deploy the hash API, but this is all of the APIs that you have. And if you go there, I explain which API you have. This is what we did yesterday, kind of live. Okay. So now what we want is to add into the file. So the file is quite big. And today the strategy that I have is every time you read or write to a file, it's aap.file. So the hash, rather to put it in .hash, is .file, then .hash as a prefix, underscore, and then whatever. Yeah. So that is my design pattern that I follow so far. So what we want now is to be able to hash big files. And the way to hash a file, and again, the goal here is to be very efficient. Even when we code it in Rust, we could say, well, we're going to load everything. Do you have a question, Adaya? No. Oh, yeah?
I have a question. Like, I can't see the video in Mate. So
Whoa,
should I consider watching it?
No. Sorry. I'm still, because now I have this live on this one and then this video on this one, and I have to start my virtual camera and stuff. So now you should see me on Team.
Yeah, I can see you right now.
It was a me
I was
mistake.
I was I was I was writing that in YouTube chat, so
Yeah, okay,
you
no
can.
problem. And then hopefully I managed to connect the voice to the YouTube guys so they should hear you relatively clear right now. So that also was
Yeah,
another kind of, so
the video is not synchronized. Like it's like 10 or
yeah.
15
So
second
yeah. So the
behind
video
you.
on YouTube is 2 seconds late. So this is why it's important that I share it on thing. It was my mistake. I just forgot to do that. And that is why I'm doing this live a little bit unplanned, because like this I can get used to it here. Okay, hey
Yeah.
Cognito.
Okay.
So awesome. Thanks a lot for testing the audio, by the way. That's perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
So hopefully people kind of hear it. Tell me online if he was too loud, not loud enough, or whatever, such as I can tune the things, or if you didn't hear the comment. Okay, so now what we want is, so there's 2 ways here. One thing that we can do is a little bit the same way of here, is we load the file, strings or binary, because in fact, when you hash, you don't care if it's a string or not. Yeah, it's a binary thing. And then we hash SHA-256, file 12, or whatever, and then we return the value. That will work. And we could do that at first if we wanted. The other way to do it in a more efficient way is to say, well, if I have a big file, for example, if I have a video of 5 gig or 2 gig or 1 gig or 500 meg, I don't want to load everything in memory. That would be silly. Yeah. So they all support this mode where you actually, hasher, you can actually do the update, which is what I do here. In a way, this one here wouldn't be really needed. In all the APIs, typically, you can hash directly without having to do update. And so when you do just a one-shot hash, there's probably another API here that does one. Now, what you want sometimes is you want to create the hasher, and then you want to update because you don't have all of the binaries, but you want to hash it as if you had all with the sum of the parts. And that allows you to stream. And so this way you can go to a big file. It doesn't matter the size of the file. The memory will be always constant. So this is what we want to do. Yeah. Now I have 2 choices. I can do it in the script. That would be fine. Or what I can say is I have another pattern which I use for myself. I mean, feel free to use it as well, is the concept of support. And support is not utils. I could have used utils as well. It would have worked. But the support thing is to say, this module support is a support common stuff or whatever, yeah, that we don't want to have too many sub crates everywhere, sub modules. So it's a support, is a utils for that module. So here will be crate actually, and down. But up you won't see. So this one is a crate level. So this one will be crate. But if you go to other guys, where can I go? Yeah, this one, for example, has a support module. This one, my design pattern, is never go back. It's never push back to the parent. So support is only down. This level, these guys, and down. And so the way you do it is you do mod support, and you make sure here that you don't export it. You don't reflatten it. So you could put it there if you wanted, but usually I leave support, so like this is clear. And then I do not flatten it, and I don't do a pub mode. Now on this guy, and sometimes I move because I have the camera in the middle, but on this guy I have mode support there, and then that's it. Yeah. And now in my support is public because I want the other module of the parents to access it. Yeah? But it doesn't bleed outside. So hopefully that makes sense. So in support, I have all of these things about text and everything, and doesn't know about Lua. So the important thing here is that this layer doesn't know about Lua. When you do a code design with AI or not, because I use AI a lot now, so there's a misconception right now, and I think that will go away, and I'm going to do a lot of videos too. This is why I'm restarting a little bit to stream quite a bit, is this notion that professional or senior coder doesn't use AI because they know better, it's a wrong notion. It's wrong. What professional coders, I mean, and in a way, I manage teams, but I'm consider myself, I've been living off my code, or at least, the code that I produce goes to my team and then it goes to the client. So I can consider myself as a professional coder. It's not about the percentage that the AI generate for us. It's about the percentage of the control we have over it. This is the percentage numbers that define if you are a vibe coder or a professional coder. It's basically how much percentage you had control on the design of the system. And it's not one prompt say, hey, do something smart and very cool and not old and new and everything. This is not how engineering works. Yeah? So there's a mix here of doesn't matter how much you use AI. This notion, never feel bad about using AI. People say, don't use AI because it gets things wrong. Well, we get things wrong also. We hallucinate also. I hallucinate. I mean, I'm not Elon Musk. I don't take anything, but sometimes I do hallucinate. And I'm mad at myself. So it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's not about blaming the other team member, but it's about how we can work as a team. And AI is part of the team. Might make us sad. That is another story. But from a productivity standpoint, from a velocity standpoint, AI is part of the team. It's not against, it's with us. Let's team up together. And I think that is where I'm going to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been saying that like it's overall it's gonna save your time no matter how you use it. Like
Exactly.
there are two flips. Like either it's gonna ruin your time or gonna save your time.
Yes, and it's like for example, for me, for the last 15 years, we have been building big apps with small team, and it's the same thing. Sometimes you have a team member or whatever, and when you on-ramp someone, sometimes you lose time, but then you gain it later. So me, I always spend time to really train the developers and staff and things such as they work our way, and then this way we can do better job. And this is why I have developers that still work with me 15 years later. So the point here is I get embracing AI much more than fighting against it. So now, one thing that we're going to do here is one thing that I'm not going to do with AI here, and this is why I think cursor is interesting, but it's a wrong tag. They are trying to do the spread between vibe coding and professional coding, and I'm not sure that is the right track for the right speed. So so AI Pack, actually, I have a pro coder that allows me to do this. So it's all recursive in a way. But this design point here, where to put the logic of this file hashing, I don't want AI to do it. I want me to do it. So there will be two ways of doing, and two ways that will be valid, which is I put all the logic over there. And in fact, I'm going to add another module here, which is, and I can add that, well, I'm going to add that later, but I'm going to do a file SHA-256, probably, and file underscore, probably, or underscore hash, or underscore file SHA, not 256, not pair. So all the SHA and all the blacks, or probably just file underscore hash. And that will have all the hash and everything. And now the question is, do I want to have the implementation of hashing tied to my Lua? A little bit the same way, the way that I did it with a hash, actually. I don't have a hash util because I'm using another crate that we created a couple of days ago. Or do I want to have my own, in my support, to have my own hash business over there? And so that Jamie, not AI, I'm going to decide to put it there. And the stories that I'm saying to my head, and the story is to validate that your design goes well. The story is to say, well, I'm going to do, going to go there, up, mode, And I'm going to follow this pattern. I'm going to say pub mod hash. Okay. Actually, I'm not happy because the hash is over there. I'm going to actually don't do that. I'm going to do file hash. Yeah, that is what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm coding here live with everybody. And so here's it's, I have many type of videos. Yes, I have type videos where I plan and I script and everything. So it's scripted videos, and I make sure and I go over and over to make sure that everything is super condensed. And this type of videos, live coding and so on, is more about the way that I work. It's something that I need to do anyway, and I do it live. And I do it now with AI because my AI pack has done. But this part here, I don't do it with AI because I want to be happy about it. And in fact, I have the files here, which now I'm not happy. Okay, so now this is current dir, home dir, list dir. Okay. So I don't want to have two module stuff. So what I'm going to do here, so that is exactly what I would do if I were alone. So I go there and I say, well, actually, I don't want the file hash. This would be silly. I want the mod file, but I'm going to do files module mod.rs. In my mod.rs, I never like, just me, and actually now it works pretty well with AI. I do not like to have code in it. I just like to have the imports. Sometimes there's an exception, but the rule is try to not have things. And then the rules is to have, I like to have the thing modules like that. Just the way that I've been used to. I'm not saying this is needed. And now I'm going to have two files below. Hey, bonjour du Japon. Ah, je suis content de te voir. Live AS, because sometimes I do more the morning. More than the afternoon.
Sorry to interrupt you, but is there any timing that like I just wanted to join you in a live so that I can ask some question and to understand how you deal with your code?
Okay. So what is the timing? What do you mean by timing?
Like is there any specific time where you do live or
Okay, so okay, good question. So there's two things where I do live. There's one set of live where I schedule them for my live stream YouTube members, and I send a poll. They poll the subject, and then I schedule them like 4 or 5 days in advance. But those are just like twice a month kind of things, and it's actually I've been late a little bit. And then there's this ad hoc live public sessions, which, as I say at the beginning here, this is this one, and that is public while streaming. And then usually I put it unlisted for 12, 24 hours, such as you guys can watch what you missed. And then early access members, 2 days, and then live stream infinitely. So that is a little bit, the way it works. And those guys, I don't schedule them because sometimes with my schedule is hard. And the thing I've realized is if I try to schedule everything, I do much less than if I do ad hoc. Now I'm going to try to schedule ahead of time a little bit, but I cannot promise. So like this time, I wanted to do it at 10 this morning. It didn't work out, and then 11, and then 2, 3. You see what I mean? So sometimes it depends. I'm fitting those sessions a little bit where I have. Yeah. So hopefully.
Okay, so I think I'm considering joining your live, like your membership. Like it's I guess $10 to $11.
Yes. And actually, I can give you, and everybody here, there's only a few people here, I can give you a cheat code. For people that doesn't want to pay, I'm even giving the cheat codes. The cheat code is I have a playlist which is JC live stream only members. And these videos is always go there to the live stream only members, and they will become member only, yes, with the schedule I said here. But because I put them unlisted and I don't want to play games and everything, and if people, cannot pay for whatever, I'm completely fine. they are going to be there for 12, 24 hours. Yeah. So if you monitor this watch list, you might get things that you shouldn't see that pop up, but
Yeah.
watch it fast because it will disappear after a day or a few hours. Yeah. So that is a cheat code here. Someone was using that. It was pretty cool. So you can use that. I'm not patching this bug. I'm leaving this bug here.
Yeah, but I guess I respect your time, so that's why I'm gonna pay for the membership. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you
I
very much.
honestly want to learn something from you. You've been
Yeah.
doing great things. Yeah, you have a lot of videos. I respect for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate. It's awesome. Okay, so I don't want to. Yeah, it's awesome. So, and any question? And so, anybody here, if you go on top here, these guys are the team meeting, and so that is how Aditya. Are you
Yeah.
Aditya? Are you
Yes. Yes.
Aditya from IIS?
No, no,
No,
I'm
no.
not. I'm
Okay,
different one.
a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, I had Aditya from
Yeah.
IIS. Anybody that want to join the live meeting? Now I'm trying to do both in parallel, live meeting
Yeah.
and then the YouTube, which is awesome. And then hopefully everybody can hear you pretty well because I have my little earpiece, and then people should hear you as well without the microphone business. So on this one here, what I started to do the things here, but I don't like it because I don't want this. It's not clean. So what I want to do is I'm going to move now this guy there. Now there's a thing here, which is this pattern has this catch as well, that Rust, Clippy, which I have the greatest respect for, doesn't like when we have this inception kind of things. So if I were going to call this guy files, and I do a mod files here, he's not going to like it. Usually it's going to, okay, it doesn't complain because I think, oh yeah, pub use files, start. Okay. Now we're back to square one. So again, no language is perfect, but Rust is amazing. That's my summary. The reason why Rust is amazing is because, I mean, these guys, they really kind of saw the things through. And they did mistake like everybody, but overall, the net value is amazing. The thing which is amazing with Rust is, compared to Java or whatever, is the module package, the module things, is not hard-coded to the file path. So in Java, usually a file is a package, and then you go down, and then if you want to have something as part of a Java file static, you put static. It gets quite verbose in the things, and then also the paths get verbose. With Rust, like with JavaScript and TypeScript, we can flatten the things. So here my files, I don't want the color of my supports to know that it's hash, it's not hash, and things. It's fine. My functions are going to be unique anyway. It's good practice. Yeah, there's no really value to have, the same function in file hash and file whatever and thing. So many times here, when I do these kind of things, you can see that I'm flattening the thing down. I had this for code organization, but then I flat them down. Now, with AI, good code practice helps a lot AI. Because now when you split these little things in subfiles, even if you flatten them out, then AI is going to be very good at understanding. You can work only, so for example, if I work on line blocks, or another cool stuff here that is not public yet, but this one, the tag block parser kind of thing. I can have AI just focusing on that without having to understand those guys. And that changed a lot. It's very efficient. And moreover, with Procoder here, where you have the control of all your context and stuff, this is kind of a game changer. So now what I'm going to say is, well, I want to have files over there, but Clippy is not happy. Yeah, the module name is the same. Inception, they have the cool name of Inception, and they don't happy, which is fine. And I have so much respect for Clippy that I don't want to be mean. So usually what I do is I will do a file. I'm going to rename it file common. Okay. And I'm going to say, hey, I put everything file common. I could put common and sometimes I put common. I'm not super clean on this one. I'm not happy of myself about this naming. I haven't, sometimes I put base, sometimes I put common. It's not clear. But I'm going to call it common. The reason why I say file commons is because sometimes it's simpler to search the file. It's something I need to clean up, this one. The naming of things, sometimes I do a common, sometimes I do base, sometimes I do file common. I need to get better at it, but in a way, the way I work, and I'm sharing everything here, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When I'm not sure about a pattern, I'm not afraid in my code base, because this is not a public API. Yeah? This is just AI pack and thing, to experiment different angles, as long as they don't conflict too much. And then over time, I will see the one that resonate the most with me. So that is a little bit the way that I work. Yeah. So now I do the file common. This one doesn't work. And then that is remove use. And now I'm confused about that. So why does he complain? So I'm going to. Okay. So sometime VS Code, when you do stuff, or rationalizer or something, kind of get confused. So you want to reload to make sure. Okay, that was not that. Fair enough. Okay, I know. Do I know? Oh, yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Up, that. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to remove this guy. And now I have files. And this one, much better. Mod, file hash. I have Copilot. Again, don't be ashamed. I'm going to repeat that again. Don't be ashamed to use AI anywhere you can. Copilot is good. Copilot, the autocomplete is good. The chat is terrible. Every time it tries to be too smart, over smart and stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I created AI Pack. And so now what I do here is, okay, so now everything works nicely. That's nice. I do a cargo build. And to complain on this one, I might do the allow unused. Aditya, if between when you don't chat, chat as much as you want, but when you don't chat, put yourself on mute. So like this, there's in case.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Just walkie-talkie is always good. And then, but make sure to jump in anytime. And that is it. So this one is good. This one is good. And so now what I have is, so gkeys is a little bit hack of myself to put all the API keys inside the environment variables that are stored in Apple keychain. It's a little trick here of a combination of shell script and a little custom script in Rust that I have. Not super happy. It doesn't prompt me every time the keys, but it's better than nothing. The only thing you do is, whatever you do, do not put your API keys, whatever API keys, in global path. You don't want that, because otherwise, that's not base safe. So back in the days, I had it in one password. I did copy paste, and then I did this, and then I need to do something a little bit more secure than that. Eventually, AI Pack might have a key vault, but I do not have the skills yet to do a good one. I know there's some very good crates, but I need to spend the time to, look the pros and the cons, and to talk to friends, and to make sure that I understand what it takes to do a safe key vault. So that is the thing. And unfortunately, Apple is kind of deprecating keychains, and now it's password. So their stuff is getting very confusing as well. So now that we have this, everything works fine, and I do a cargo test. So that should be things. And now that everything passed, so now I have two choices in my head. My head is, do I want to work on main, or do I want to create my own branch and work on another branch? And the reason why is because this file command stuff might be a little bit. Usually I can work on main because I'm mostly the main developer on AI Pack. But on this one, I might do a branch. So I'm going to do a git sc, which is switch create business, dash b or whatever it is. And then I have aliases. I like aliases. And then I'm going to call next file hash. Okay. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to have over granular commits. Then I can squash without missing my main. Because if you squash the wrong thing in main, then it's you're for a ride. Yeah. If you do it in a branch, if you mess it up or whatever, you can recover or you can restart from scratch. There's ways. It's simpler. Yeah. So that is why I like to have these little things over there. And then sometimes also if there is a big bug fix, I can fix it without being in a pickle. So sometimes if I know it's an easy one, I implement it directly on main. This one might be a bigger one, so I'm going to do it on a branch. And I'm going to do the git add. So now it's a new file. Actually, okay, I'm sorry, changing my mind here. This is just refactoring. We didn't add anything except this one, which is ugly in a way. And if we want, we can. I'm going to remove that, okay? I'm explaining here everything I code here all the time. So the reason here is, oh, sorry, I didn't scroll the thing. The guess is a little bit low. Very cool. Aditya, I can show my OBS key on here. If you talk, it should be higher. So anyway.
I guess it's fine.
Okay. No, this is good. Oh, this is too high. And then this one, it should be fine. No, but they were good comments. It's all good. Thanks a lot for the feedback. And then, where am I? Yeah, I'm there. So here, I'm sorry. So usually what I do is, here we did a refactoring, which has nothing to do, we didn't add any code. So if I do put it in my branch over there, and then I fix someone else, and I have this refactoring, beginning of refactoring, and it's going to create a mess. So what I like is when I do code relayout, which I call, I put it on main because I want this one to be at the branch. So I'm going to git c, and I'm going to do git c, and then this is my little notation. Git c is commit append dash a dash m, and I'm going to say supports files relayout. Okay. Cool. So the nice thing is now I have this relayout, didn't add anything, the test passed, didn't break anything, everything compiles, I'm happy and things. Now this other guy here is going to be a mess here, so I'm not going to try to be merge D. I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to recreate it. Okay, so now I'm there. So now what I'm going to want to do is to add the one that we had, mod file hash and pub use file hash. And not how, I'm not like super dogmatic about, well, what do you put file hash? You're already under files and everything. Well, because if I put hash when I look at files, this way is going to be more convenient. And again, that can change over time. So I do a command, things like that. And I have my file hash. That is a reload issue, I think. Okay, yeah. We're going to have the allow unused. Okay, so now what I want, so I'm going to do git c, and here it is. I'm going to do a plus, which is going to be a new feature. And I'm going to do, no, I'm not going to do a plus. I'm going to do a minus because we're not adding so first we're going to add the features in support files. Nobody is going to see it. And then we're going to do a new commit to add it to aip.file. And that is where we're going to add the plus because that is a plus for the end user. So that is my strategy in my head. So I say support files, file hash. Okay, that is fine. The vision now is that this guy is going to be the base. I need to make sure to add this one, git log, git amen. And that does a git commit dash dash amen dash m or whatever, dash a or whatever it does. So it does amen. So now everything is on this guy. So now this is going to be my work here. So sorry for everybody here. It took a long time to get to some Rust code here. A lot of was code design talk and so on. But if we go, so what I do is I pin it. I like to pin things. It's Command K, Shift, Enter, I think. And what I want is to do the hashing of a file in a good way. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to go there, and I don't think I have hash. Yeah, do I have hash? Yeah, Black 3 and Black 4. And yes, because I'm confused with my other crate, which is the UID, because that we do the hashing over there already. So what I want to do is to do the hashing there. And in fact, I'm going to do hash 256, hash SHA. And honestly, I can have, well, if I want to sort it. And then I'm going to have another one. Black 3. So Black 3 is like SHA-256 and stuff, but it's super fast. I'm a big fan of Black 3. So usually when I do is Black 3, but other people, it's good to have the standard one. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with SHA-256 and 512. It's just like Black 3 is very fast and it's as secure cryptographically or whatever. It seems to be as good. And it works pretty well. So usually I like this kind of thing. And the reason why I split in two is two things. Because one, I think is good code design. And two, because they are going to use different APIs. So it will be silly to have SHA-256 and SHA-512, I think. So this is the thing. And then again, with AI, I can focus on one and then I focus on the other one. So often the good practices for AI is the good practices for us as well. Could I ask AI here and play with prompt and everything? Yeah, sure. Yeah, but it's like, you've seen here that while I was doing it, I was thinking it in my head. So it's about, adding all together. So git log, git add, git amend. So the git amend is a little bit dangerous because you don't want to amend things that you don't want, because then after it's a mess. But in this case, is relatively good. I mean, I like the pattern because I can amend, and it didn't make sense to have other commits, and then I amend it to the main one below. Yeah. But then sometime when I am in the work, and we're going to see, I do individual commits that I plan to collapse after to squash to parent later. So now we have the SHA and the thing. So now it's time to say, okay, how do we do the stream? Now, I've done a video, if you see, which is my Rust XP, Blake. So I'm the biggest fan of Blake. And that was a video that I did. And so the funny thing is, when I do video about XP and everything, XP is like examples or, experimental stuff, is a way that I learn libraries. When I want to learn libraries, I do like that. I have a little Rust stuff. I can change project like this very quickly. And then I go there and then I look at the things. It allows me to, it's a way that I've learned it. So every examples here, I use a C as a chapter in a way on my videos. But actually, this is what I use. So it's not only what I teach. Teach is a big word, but it's also what I use for myself. Yeah. Now, when I do this, I spend a little bit more time to script everything and everything kind of flow. But I go back to my own code there, yeah. And all of that is published in the Jeremy Sean channel, I think, or somewhere. And if it's not, feel free to ping me. I will put the source somewhere. Then this is the thing. Yes. Hey, Kirglo. Thanks a lot for everything. So you are using example as a way of experimenting. So very good question here. I will go back to you here on the AI pack. I just want to make sure that I don't get started AI pack, because otherwise it's going to be a whole video about the AI pack. But you are using example in a way, yes. So the way that I do, look at that. Open. And by the way, I'm sorry about this because this is going to be super small, but I didn't find a way to make it bigger. So when I do plus, it just does a line, but yeah. So that is how small my screen is. And so it's, anyway. But I have all of these XPs. So I have the XP basics over there, which is the basics. There's a lot of things. All the basic stuff. Yeah? So in fact, if you go to examples, you are going to see a lot of examples: iter, cast, lazy, files, and stuff. So that is like kind of my sandbox in a way, but it's kind of organized. And then I have stuff here: Black 3, Ratatouille, that I'm planning to do more and more. Scraper, which is awesome, is select on HTML. Agentic, which is my own crate, but now I also create an XP because I'm going to make a video of it, but it also allows me to check the ergonomics of my own API. So even when I make my own things, I do an XP for things. So the XP, the XP SQLite, this is something I publish. So I don't know why it doesn't sort by name. The SQLite is also something I've published as a video and everything. So I do that, and my XP is so first is for my video sometime, but it's also for me. For SQLite, I was doing that, and then I start very simple. Yeah, SQLite, it was a hello world. So here, for example, when I was learning Black 3, I've learned where there's this one, and there was another one where you have an API just to hash once. And then you have the kid guy. So I've looked at the kid with a double ID and stuff, and then the files, and then with a custom buffer. So now the cool thing about this is I can go there and I can see the code. So I could ask AI, but I've already done the work in a way. So I know already that what I do is hash files, and the function hash file is here. I open the file. I do the metadata because I just want to show off later how much size it was. And then I open the reader. I keep track that I don't really care about this guy. I do the hash. And here's the things. We do the IO copy. So the hasher of Blex implements reader and writer. So because they do that, it does allow us to use IO copy. We give the reader, which is the reader of the file. We go the hasher. In this scenario, you do not have control of the buffer size. So there were a good comment in my Rust Black 3. We were saying, well, the default buffer size, which is 4 kilobytes and everything, is not optimum now in most machines. And in fact, it's better to use a bigger buffer size. And so I have another one here where we're using its a custom buffer size. And here it's still very low. Yeah. So in fact, you will need, and I don't know if AI will be very good at that, but you will need to, but it might be good because it might have read stuff on the Stack Overflow and everything. But say, what is the optimum buffer size to hash big, files of any size with the thing. And so this is one strategy where you do it by hand and you manage your buffer size. For our implementation right now, we're going to do the default. It's going to be plenty enough. And then we're going to see the stuff. So because I've done it, I've done the research already, I'm not going to ask AI. I'm going to actually copy paste this guy. And we're not going to use this guy as is, but we're going to copy paste these guys. And today is the SHA-56 for maybe another day here. This session always is a little bit longer because I talk a little bit too much all the time. I want to answer this question here again. I am interested in trying AI Pack, yes, for making a TypeScript library, yes. Is there a Discord channel? Yes, for AI Pack, and I can give you that right now. So you see all my life is on VS Code. It's not that, but overall the net value is the thing. So here it is, the Discord channel here. You can go there and ask, and it's awesome. I'm using it for TypeScript, and it's actually I implemented. So this whole thing here, I promise, is the last time I talk about it. Then this whole thing on AI Pack, this cool little animation of pricing, where you see the things moving and then moving horizontal, and then you can select all these kind of things and stuff, and you can pin the stuff up. All of that was done with Procoder. Yeah, so I have a video over there of AI Pack, and then if you go to AI Pack, I have a lot of tutorials here, and I have a tutorial for custom things, and this is where I do production coding with AI Pack. And in these videos, I'm going to show AI as coding. Yeah, sometimes people confuse it with vibe coder. Believe me, the way I use AI, a vibe coder will get seasick extremely quickly. So now that we had that, I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to my thing. I'm going to take that. That was one of the reasons here that I did this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Stuff. This one, okay, now I complain. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so now this one here, command dot, won't work because I don't know why. It doesn't recognize. So I have a Rust 10x, a couple of things. I have an AI Pack extension with some snippets, and I have Rust 10x with some snippets as well. So I put create reason. So when you do one, you have some stuff, and then this guy is that guy. So that will give me my pattern over there. Now, what do we want to give back? Hash files, and I want to give back the vector U8. I don't want to give any initialization at this point. The reason why I don't want any initialization at this point is because I want to allow, I don't have the file, but I want to allow serialization to be hexadecimal, which is a long version and efficient in a way, base 64 URL, but also one that I'm a big fan of is B58, base 58. And this is because there's no special character, nothing and everything is almost as short, if sometimes even shorter than base 64. And it doesn't have even a dash or whatever. And that is beautiful because then for my parsing or stuff, I like to use that as the opaque kind of hash, much more than hexadecimal or whatever. So this is what. So this one would return the vector of 8, and then there were another serialization x or whatever. So that would be the plan. Now we're going to do the file open like that. That's fair enough. We don't need NIO. I wouldn't use NIO for these kind of things. If people tell you to do NIO for local file system, make sure that they have coded operating system type of things. Yeah, I didn't. So if they say it, follow it, listen to them. If it's just like a front-end developer or someone even like me, a little bit higher stack, and saying, well, you should use NIO to access local files, is not a given. Yeah, on Linux, where that will matter for cloud and scale, because on laptop, that wouldn't matter. The thing I've read is that it doesn't even help. Yeah. NIO help when you wait time to get the data and the operating system can do its magic to not wait on a native thread. And otherwise, it's stuff. So for networking is awesome. For that, I'm not sure. Yeah. Now, well, the way to call it, if we were going to make it async, now there's a way here where if we control the buffer, we could do a yield, an asyncly, the Tokyo async yield, such as it will give the opportunity of other guys to do the things. Yeah? So that is not an IO. Yeah? That just allows Tokyo kind of thing to breathe a little bit and not to have your 5 gig hashing taking everybody. Yeah. So that is another one. So instant, we don't care. Yeah, it's not about showing off. This guy, we should have the Blake 3 because we are using it in our hash. But we are not using the string. Yeah, remember, yeah, we do not want to use the string hashing because the whole point is we don't want to stream hash. We want to stream the thing, to hash the string. We want to stream the hash. Good luck with the accent, but that hopefully you get what I'm saying. And then I'm going to use stdio. We finalize, so that is the way it does here. So start the hasher, do that, and if you look here, the hasher is going to implement writer interface. So that is the way it works. It does the things, stuff. Again, I use a lot of AI. Usually my code in AI Pack is 40 to 50 generated by AI, but this is a good example where the AI wouldn't really add value. Yeah, because I already done the research. I already know exactly what I want, the pros and the cons of stuff. So in this case, I say, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then I will ask it, and you will see, to add the doc and all these kind of things, and to finish the boring stuff. And this is not what I want. What is the type here? That is hash. And now hash as bytes. Okay. And so now I should know that. If I were a very cool Rust coder, I will know that. I will say let hash vect u8 because I want to be on. And I don't want the caller to really know is hasher and everything. It's not a thing here. I just want that. And I'm going to do a collect. And then if I do a collect, can I do that? I don't even know. No. I think I can do this. No. Huh. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so that is where no shame, not even an ounce of shame. So here I could use Coder, but Coder is good when I work with big files and stuff. But often what I have is I have my ChatGPT here. And if something smells bad, I don't use it. But I have no clue to save my time and say, hey, so usually I start a temporary guy. And I say, in Rust, if I have that, how do I get vect u8? It's a little bit embarrassing that I don't know by things, but it's pretty bad. Yeah. Oh, that was bad. I will try to clip it. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, and again, I'm joking because I have no shame. And then the file size here, we don't care. It's not about showing off. And then that's it. Yeah. So I have this and I have a hash file. So this is cool. So now the way that I like to organize the code is, this is not something that is going to be export. People behind wouldn't see that. So what I like is my code region is I have three ways in a way. I have subcrates or crates, then modules, obviously, then code regions inside like this. And then I have another guy before the code, which is this kind of things here. If I wanted to split, but this one doesn't have a closing tag. Yeah? So that's my hierarchy of things. So here I put my code region here, support and things. Now the cool thing here with Procoder, so if I go to the thing, if you install a pack and Procoder, all of these things, and it will create you a prompt, Procoder, and we create this. And usually I always have that as a first guy. And you see that here I have knowledge globes, pro, Rust, NX, guide, and stuff. And all of these cool best practices, boom, they're there. And this is a public repo in AI Pack. You can find the guidelines. You can put it in Cursor and everything. We have nothing against for or against Cursor. And fashion as bad. So now that we have this, so this is pretty cool. And I think this is exactly the way I want it. And now that we have this, I can either create the stuff by myself. So we can do a pub fn. And that is where I do a file, exe like that. And I'm going to do path of files. And then I'm going to do a result of a string. Okay, so this is the way that I want it. Now, don't want to go too deep here, but the thing I don't like about this stuff is, well, that would be later. So I have a simple fs crate that I like to use because it's always UTF-88, and it allows me to. So first, it simplify it. I use another crate UTF-88 buffer stuff behind the scene, but it also have a lot of convenient APIs and stuff, and I like it a lot. So it's the S path, like simple path. And so sometimes I do that, and that allows me to have the simple path rather than the path. The nice thing is it does have the, we're going to use that actually. So press save. This guy is going to cry. We're going to do that. Here I do a to-do. Why it doesn't it anymore? And then I'm going to do SPass. And so that should work because the pass has ref and everything will work nicely. And so in this thing, we're going to have let path equal no, in fact, we don't really care. We're just going to let hash equal hash files, the path, and the question mark. Okay, so now this should compile nicely. And then once we have that, we want to have the EX kind of things. So I'm going to say return, not return, sorry, getting old here. Hash. So this guy, the SHA-256 doesn't have that, but this guy has 2 hex. Yeah? No, he has. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, interesting. I've lost the 2 hex because now we have a vector of 8. So I could, but I don't like it. So I'm going to have the 2 hex here. So I think is, if I go, I'm going to go back to the script AIP hash. And this one is doing the hex stuff and hex encode. That seems good. Copy paste that. And this should be okay. That should be, stuff might be okay, that's good. And then I do okay. Yeah. And so I'm happy with that. The design here could have said, well, this one return a hash because a hash, if you look, there's a 2x on this guy. But that's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with this way. And it is going to be the same way on everything. And now what I can do is I can say, well, I want that guy B58, which is my favorite. And now I can go actually to my file. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pin this guy. And the B58. So I've already done some of the business over there. I don't need to do multiple. That sounds good. Now, the thing I'm saying is to say, you see, I'm copying, but the code is simple. Yeah, I could have a hash on support and use that, but I'm fine with that. I mean, not a hash, an encode actually. So later I might have something here that say encode, such as I have my APIs and I don't have to change APIs all the time. So I might do that. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so that will be that. And then I have these other ones. I could have looked at the B64. So that is the base 64. Come on. Okay, very good. Up. I could have asked AI. I don't know if AI might have been a little bit faster than me here. I'm not being a pub fn hash. So sometime, let's see the autocomplete here. Sometime when you have the pattern, it kind of follow. So I turn off the autocomplete. I have it on command /, but it doesn't work somehow. Doesn't give me anything. Okay. Path. I do this. B64. I'm going to do this guy. And I'm going to do, so AI is coming. I'm going to do that. Okay. And I'm going to, I think, implement this guy here. That's how it works. And then the last one is B64 URL, which I like. And the one that I use of B64 URL is the B64 URL notepad. The reason why I don't say notepad is because it's my use thing. So I am still in my little world here of naming, and I'm not using the other one. So I'm going to say, B64U is a URL notepad. URL safe notepad. And so that basically allows you to put it in URLs. And so it's nice. But this is my preferred one. So now we have that. So this is pretty cool. We're not going to write test because I don't think, I mean, we could, but I wouldn't do it manually. So git log, git, I'm going to git amend this one. Okay. So I'm fine on this guy. I'm going to go there, and I don't do that often, but sometimes I disable the noise. I don't like noise when I code. Then before I make the big commit, or sometime I need to remove that because clippy clean, it's awesome. So I don't want to lose the clippy clean at the end. Yeah. So at the end of the branch, I'm going to make sure that I enable everything. So now that I have that, I'm saying to myself, well, you know what? now I could have AI taking this and making the SHA guy. Yeah. And the SHA is going to be more known, I think. And they've been pretty good now, these guys, to learn things. So here's how it works now. So I have my AIP, check keys. Tell me that I have all the keys in the environment variable. I don't show them, but I say you have everything. Now, what I can do here is I can run what I call the procoder. So if I didn't have this file, it will create this file into .ai pack, which make this folder the workspace. And then by convention, the procoder is a stuff. This is not AI pack. AI pack doesn't know about coding. AI pack just have a set of functions that make building agent extremely simple. And it has a model to make it concurrent and everything. And one of the pack is a pro at coder. So when you install a pack, you say AIP, install pro at coder, and that will install the pack. So, and then you have all these APIs here. And this is a new APIs that we're implementing for files to have hash and all this kind of business. So what we're going to do is we come here and we say, well, okay, I want my procoder. This is the concept of parametric agent block. So all of this concept is a little bit advanced because it's very recursive. I mean, this AI pack engine is super powerful. I have a packaging problem to try to explain it. So I'm trying to vertical use cases. We had a very cool use case where we took a documentation of alchemy, 170 meg, and we turn it into 792 kilobytes of markdown, super optimized with LL, and also generated a LLMs.txt. So it's very powerful for many things. One of the things is you do AI pack. So once you install it, and you can install the binary. Yeah, so you have the binary over there. Yeah, so you install the binary wherever you need. And then when you do AIP, install pro at coder. That will download. It's 11 kilobyte of size. It's kind of pretty amazing. And then you do AIP, install pro at Rust10x. So pro is a namespace, Rust10x is a pack. Yeah? And the pro namespace is the one that I'm maintaining. Before it was JC, but both are bad, I guess. But now you have 9 kilobyte. And that is where I have the best practices. So that is where that comes from. Yeah? So I say, hey, look there. So I can have a pack path there. You can have your own pack. Nice thing about that is install in your home so you can share it across different things. Now, one thing I'm going to say is, well, okay, base dir is 0 because I'm in Rust, I do that. One thing that I like to do is I give main, mod, and error. And that is a relatively cheap way to give ADI a good context of what you want to work with. Okay? And then I'm going to say the files that I want to work with. And so right now, and working globes is advanced. We'll talk about it later. So what we have seen here, again, is this way of coding, any vibe coder will get seasick in a second. There's no way. They will roll their eyes, say, ha, 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 and then they say, oh my God, I prefer my web interface. So they will never use that. The problem is, like for me, I've been coding for a long time. I've been training developers and stuff. I don't know how people code in a web browser. It just doesn't compute with me. And you can put an AI sticker everywhere, like in the four corner, still a web browser. So, for me, everything is a file. I like to have a file. And in fact, in this case, even the prompt is a file. So in this case, I do cargo to ML, and then I'm giving that. I have full control. And then I'm going to give to this guy. And so we're not there. We are in our... Sorry, I'm being slow right now. Yeah, we're under files. So we're going to have this. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to do... Yeah, in browser editors. It's funny. Every time I see people going there, I'm like... And in fact, I don't know. Don't get me started. The thing is, which is crazy, is already, and I'm sorry if people like Next.js or whatever, already we had frameworks that make easy. And for me, easy is evil. Simple is a goal, but simple is not easy. And so all of this easy stuff intertwine things, and then it's super hard to scale, and that complexity explode. And then now with AI, people are going to be able to make easier, which is only the goal is to make bad code design more prolific. It's like, cool, we won the championship. I don't understand the thing. But people, they like it. They have their little enterprise graph. They think they won. Yeah. Now, where AI is very cool for the no-code, low-code is when you have an application like Oracle Finances or Salesforce or whatever, and you have the right thing, then it's become magical, yeah? Because you are in a constrained environment, you have your thing, and then you can have kind of this kind of, but that is not coding, yeah? You are not coding Salesforce in a web browser, yeah? You are allowing people to customize Salesforce. So this is where sometimes people kind of, it's not because we spend our time to customize with code that now we should confuse code with customization in a way. So I do that, and yeah, NeoVim and Vim users respect here. I'm still on. Yeah, I've tried, and I'm not saying it's bad, but everybody has that tool. And this is why the AI pack is completely, it's a terminal. You can run it with NeoVim and stuff. It's same folder. You run it. I have a little wire here, which is I do Command R. It will send R to the terminal below. It doesn't even know it's AI pack. I might add some keyboards in the AI pack later. Extension. But right now it's just like silly hard code. So you can use AI pack with anything you want. And then we're going to give, so what we're saying is globs here. So we're giving everything which is under files. There's a little trick in VS Code. If you drag and drop a file, press Shift, then boom is a path. And that is awesome because it's helping a lot. Now, if you drag and drop the folder, it will create the absolute path. So what you want is a relative path because we have the .ai pack at the root of the folder, like our cargo and everything. That is the right way. So then you do the file usually, and then I do that. That is what we did over there. So now I give all the files here, and that's it. I don't need more. Structure globs is I do a list files, but I don't give the content. So it's a very cheap way to give the AI a good understanding of the scope of the project without giving everything. The beauty of that is this whole code here is 9 kilobytes zip, 20 kilobytes on disk. Yeah, so, and it's open source, so you can see the procoder, copy it. Actually, I make it easy to you can just copy it in customs and then make your own or whatever. So it's very powerful in a very small size. So now I do this, and I have the structure glob. We do the write mode through. This is a new experimental flag that I'm using, such as this. Sometimes it's going to decide to write everything or to write only search replace kind of things that can save. This is model where I can say I want the aliases or I want the specific model name. So that is what is allowing me to do that. And then what I'm going to do is, so I make sure, so one thing which, so usually is where I work is two things. I have this guy, which is going to be where I have AIP, and then this guy, which is where I'm going to do the git commit, git whatever. And then I'm going to do AIP, run, pro, add coder. Yeah? Pro is a namespace, coder is the pack name. And now I press enter. Well, I'm going to fix this stuff. So if I don't have any prompt, so that is a parametric prompt on top. Below is the answer, that is the stats, and that's the answer of the AI minus the files that AI has changed, because I put them in the file and I don't put them back there. And so now in the prompt, if it's empty and I run that, it's going to say, hey, it's empty, nothing to do. Now I can add stuff. And so now because I've given the thing, I say, hey, following the file hash blake3.rs patterns, can you create the file hash SHA address for SHA-256. Oh, sorry. SHA-256 and SHA-512. Okay? So that is the way. And I don't need to say hey. And I don't. We humanize sometimes. It's I don't like it. It's a it. And then I'm going to press R. So this is a session now, and I'm pressing R and bada-boom. Oh, that's nice. There's something wrong here. So let's see that. Okay, I think I have. Okay, it's a bug that has been fixed in the latest one. Oh, okay, give me AP-B. I'm sorry. So CI is cargo what? Is cargo install path, I think. And then I do C, which is my shortcut. Now I'm going to do that. No, that's not nice. Okay. There's a bug here. We'll fix it. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. There's a weird thing in. So that was an old version that I did. This bug has been fixed. This is just. Okay. So this bug has been fixed. It's just I did a fake. I'm not a fake, a wrong release, and then stuff. So this one has been fixed. So I do a J keys. I mean, I hope, and I do a C, which should work nicely. Command SAF, and then I do this, and I do a C, please. Okay, good. So if you install the latest one, you are not going to see it. It was my internal business here. So I didn't reinstall the fix 512. I was testing the 512 and then I had a bug and I had to fix it. So what that sent, it sent this guy everything. Now the cool thing about AI Pack, we're coding AI Pack with AI Pack. Okay? It's about, if I go, so now I'm going to go there, it's about Toki 29,000 line of code. Yeah, it goes up now. So the trick is, if you use cursor or whatever, or even Ada or whatever, it's going to try to be smart and then thing and stuff. And sometimes it will get stuff, sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's impressive. But often it's frustrating. Yeah, because it's good when you don't care about control. It's frustrating when you care about control. Here I know exactly what I need to fix. Is it more work to do this? Yes. Is it more control? Yes. So it's a net value kind of business. Yeah. Commit your change before running AIP. Oh! Yes, this was bad. Thanks a lot, Kerglo. Always commit your changes before you do an AIP run command. And by the way, if you can use Ada or whatever, it's always the same thing. So one thing I did bad, and he doesn't, he didn't mess it up. Where did I? I don't know if I, but make sure you always have the clean commit before. Yeah, so you go and you have a clean commit and then you run your stuff. So that is super important. So I think it's did the whole thing and it follows the right way. And it has a hash file, so it follows the same pattern. So we're going to go there. And so here again, it's not vibe coding. Vibe coder doesn't do what we're doing here. They don't come and click and check the stuff. They say, no, we don't have time. We have to say to do what the CEO is telling us or the ex-product manager is telling us to do. So here we're doing the opposite, yeah? So we go here, hash files and things. We want to make sure it's mapped. This guy, I don't really like it. He doesn't really need that. I'm going to explain why he doesn't need that. Well, yes and no, but yeah, I don't need that. I'm going to normalize it with before. I don't know why it did. I'm going to keep it there. So these three things. Okay. I don't want to go too deep on this one, but here on the test, so test sometime is using ensured here. I don't know where it's using ensured here from, but it's not using the right way. And yeah, so that is not part of the API. So I have a way now of making an API to make a one file API documentation markdown, which I can pass to an LLM, such as they know my simple FS. And the thing that we're using right now is this guy, which is a library I created. It doesn't matter if it's not used. When I push stuff, it's, I push stuff for me. If it's used, it's used. If it's not, it's not. It's because I use it in multiple places. Yeah? And the problem is that he doesn't know, obviously, that. And he will probably never know, yeah, because a little guy. So the trick here is, how do I do that? Well, I could say, well, AI is super smart. He can go and browse. But again, if you go to look at the doc, it's very heavy HTML for little value, for little content. So I have a way here, if you go to SimpleFS. So this is on my local. And here's what I have created. I think I have it here. All. So I'm going to rename this guy, all-in-one APIs. Okay, I'm going to copy that, copy absolute path, boom, go back there. I'm going to do, so that is go back to King Law here. Now I'm stuck because I don't know what I had before or not. Yeah. So now, yeah, this is why you want to do the commit before you do the things. The color kind of threw me away somehow. I thought this one was, so if I do a git restore here, I think I will use, so you want to be able to do git restore when you're not happy of the thing. So if I go a file here, oh no, but I had a clean commit, I think, no? No, I think I had a clean commit on this guy. So I can do a git restore here. And it goes back there. So that is very important, yes? I say, King Lou, you always want to start at 0. And I think, oh yeah, okay. It's this one here. Okay, fair enough. So here I'm going to do a git. So usually what I do is like this. Blake 3 done. Okay, I do like that. And the tilde, I will squash them. So it's my quick way to say I'm going to squash them. So this is a way. Now it does a thing because I always forget to do that. Git log, up, and then I do that guy. Yeah, so, all right, my alias, and that guy. Git log, and now I'm there. Okay, so Black 3, done. Now, I'm going to reprint the stuff. So here's the thing. I go to my procoder, I'm going to stuff. And it's very cool. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. But so now I see the thing. And this is heaven because you see, compared to anybody else, you see a little bit how much it costs, the prompt token, the completion, if it caches, the reasoning and everything. And that gives you a good sense of how much. I even say how many knowledge files, how many working files, how many context files. So here they were a little bit on the high side. Prompt token 19 is actually pretty low because the 35 looks high, but because my mod.rs, main.rs are small, because of my mod best practice is important. The reason why it's important to give mod.rs is because what you want is to be able to have the AI knows what has been flattened out. Otherwise, it doesn't know. Yeah, because if you just give the thing. So that is why it's important. So now that we have this, I did a git restore. So, I'm losing 10 cents here for you. Actually, it's not true because sometimes even for me, but it's because I work with the iPad. It does things that could work, but I restart it anyway. And because I'm testing my AI. So now I go there, and that was a path that we had. So eventually I'm going to have MCP somehow in AI pack. And these knowledge globes is a way to just, these are globes and you don't want the thing to be smart. But then I might have a knowledge underscore MCP or something that basically say, you go and pick and choose. The way that I'm doing Procoder, I'm taking the opposite approach of everybody else. Control first, smart second. Lame is the new cool. So yeah, this is lame, but this is very efficient. Now I know I want it simple FS, don't mess it up. Yeah. So, and this dog, by the way, I ask Procoder to credit for the things. And I'm still working on it. And I want to either have Procoder, it might be under Rust 10x because Procoder doesn't really know about Rust. So it might be more kind of a Rust 10x to say, hey, take this lib and create an all-in-one doc. And then when you start having that, it's starting to get super hot. And it might be LLM, TX, TE, and I'm thinking about all of this stuff. So, but it's a great cache, and it allows me to tell people it's super important because you do want, like in this case, for example, it would have been weird. I would have been getting no, and then it's like, how come the other stuff? Did I miss something? So it's always important, and I do this and making sure that there's nothing there, and there's the colors and everything is fine. So now I'm going to run that. I'm going to run that, and that's it. Yeah. And I think it's funny that he found test data. How come he found the test data? This is pretty cool. This is where AI is awesome. Because I gave him all of the files and the files command, if you go under files command in the test, this is a practice that I have in my test, yeah, because it's file business. I do some of this create, I think. Yeah? Say .tmp, I think. No. There's something here that I'm not sure why. How he managed to know the test data business, because I didn't give it the test data. Yeah. So this is a question mark in my head, but this is for another day. Okay. And now he has the knowledge of RSNX. Okay. Now, one thing here is, I change a prompt and everything. I don't need to restart as long as I have my API keys and I don't reinstall, obviously, the binary. But when I change stuff, even if I were changing the procoder or agents or stuff, I don't need. I just press R and it's the same session and it goes back again. So the nice thing about the home session is you can have actually a session ID, and you have actually a temp folder where you can put your temp folder there with the API thing. So it's pretty cool for custom agent. Now, there were a very good comment. I don't know if it was you, Kinglo, but someone was saying, and I'm going to implement that in previous stream, is, hey, it would be nice because I give you the cost and everything per request, but you don't know the cost, the total cost. And in fact, when I run here, you can see it. I give it also here in the print thing. I think there, and I don't know if I will put here, but at least there, I will try to put the total stats. Yeah, the total amount, total cost, and probably a cost per model as well, such as if you change models, you can see the different cost. So that might be interesting. And this is a nice to have, but it's a cool nice to have. So now it did the things, it added the files. So again, nothing to do with live coding. A live coder will get so sick right now because we coded everything. We did the first one, and then we are going to go check that, and we're going to, I'm not pressing save because I'm not brave, but we're going to see. Oh, I didn't add the test right now. It's funny, and the previous call it right in the test on this one. Buff reader, new, hasher, good. I don't like it. It's funny, I don't like this one. Oh, perhaps because we don't have a choice. Yeah, no, we don't have a choice. So it did the right thing, I think, because we don't have any user 8K buffer. Because I don't think the hasher, the SHA 12 or whatever is using the stuff. Now, it could have been smarter here is to do the thing. So in fact, here's the thing I will say. I will do something like that. I will say, okay, that's fine. Now, the thing I don't like is that there's 2 times the same logic just because of the different SHA. Yeah. So that is the thing. So again, as a live coder, we'll let that go. I could let that go, but in fact, I'm going to do, and here again, a second law, always add git log, I check it, git C, because the other one was Blake, so I'm going to do SHA in the work, or whatever. And then I'm going to go back to my prompt, and I'm lazy, and I'm going to say, for the and we're going to say SHA 512. This is kind of, honestly, this is kind of ugly, but it's ugly which is hidden. Usually you will do an enum. Well, we're not coding the enum, so let's, yeah. And then it will do the rest. Okay, I'm going back there, go there, do run. So this one was only 8 cents because it was relatively easy. What is expensive usually is the completion tokens. So the more bigger file you have, the more stuff you has to do. This is why I'm experimenting now with this experimentation flag here, which is going to allow us to do this kind of thing here. I don't know if he did it. So we're going to see if he does it. But he can do, to replace a file, he can do a search replace. Now, the cool thing again is AIPack doesn't know about coding. So AIPack provide an API that allows people to do the search file and replace. So did he do that? No, he didn't do in this case. He decided to replace everything, probably. Because it was too many functions. So he did the right call. So right now I'm experimenting compared to Ada or whatever. I have both modes working, and it's in the API. So the cool thing is you can write your own agent and use that API, which is this one. It's even in change because it's not here. We'll put it there. It's text and then change. Oh wow. No, I didn't put it in yet because it's kind of advanced and experimental, but now it works. So I will put it in. But it's basically, if you go to Packs Pro, so that is where I have, it's a repo, yeah? So you go to AI Pack, is over there. You go to repositories and then you will find the repo. And if you go to the Pro Coder, you go to this one. So this one is pretty advanced, yeah? I mean, if you're at this level, you are pretty good. But apply changes. Save change. Oh yeah, okay. That's nice. Save changes. And so that the remain here, that's the content that you give the file path and you give the content. And if it's a block without search and replace, it's fine. But if it has this guy, this kind of notation, which is like merge commit almost, then it will apply that to whatever content you have. It doesn't care about it could be JSON, could be text, could be wiki, could be anything. It doesn't matter. It will say, okay, I'm applying that. And every time you have a search on the same file, every time you have a search, I search for that and I replace with that. I search with that and I replace with that in order. One guy. So the cool thing with AI is when you give this instruction and it needs some iteration, the AI will get it. Yeah. And now I'm even giving the instruction to say, hey, you judge. Yeah? If you change a lot, don't search replace all the time because otherwise you pay twice or 3 times as much. But if it's just like small snippets on top and on bottom, is that. Now, I'm very happy to have done that because in Rust, we have a very good practice is to have the test within the file, the unit test, which is awesome. Again, a big fan of Rust, obviously. The trick of that is that when we are changing only documentation or whatever on top of the function, then if you replace everything, then first it takes time and then it adds up. So all of this like 10 cents adds up. Yeah. When you are sub 10 cents, you are good. Yeah. Now the cool thing here is we are caching too. Yeah. So because we kind of replay a little bit, that has been caching. Okay, that is a good question. Are Lua APIs needed for extending AI Pack functionality? Yes. AI Pack, the way you create an agent is with what I call this markdown. So in fact, you can go to lab, yeah? Lab, AI Pack lab. Again, it's a repository, actually, it's linked in the doc. But you can go there. It's pretty cool because you have this AKO, which is agentic knowledge optimization. And then you have the Hello World. And the Hello World has a silly Hello World here. And it has this concept of multi-stage. Markdown. So this is a markdown. So when you install AI Pack, map AIP to markdown. If you don't have AI Pack or if you are using another editor, map.aip to markdown, then it will look much nicer. And then data is one of the stage, recognize stage, and that is only Lua. And then it goes to instruction, and that is markdown. It's 100 bars. So you can put anywhere you want, anything you want under instruction and stuff. And you can have system, instruction, and all of that. And then output, you get the AI response, get the content, and then you can do whatever you want. So that is always Lua. Lua is the scripting to do AI Pack. I was using Rai before, and Rai is okay, but Lua is much more powerful. It's a real scripting language, and it's exactly for that purpose. Yeah. So the nice things about that is everything we've done and everything going to the web, doing a post, get, and all these files, everything is embedded into this AI. pack at 15, 16 megabytes. Zero dependency. You can run it on your local. You can run it in the cloud in the slimmest Linux you can find. You just need libc today. But it's pretty good. And then eventually I might do, I don't remember the name, like the Alpine, the whatever release also of Linux, but people can compile it as well. So that is the way that we have done. So right now we are not at all kind of AI pack. We have done the hash files. We have the hash file things. And now I want to say, hey, one function for the hash file. And I'm sorry, I'm being slow here. And it actually did what I wanted it to do. Yeah, so when we look at it, this was pretty good. It's exactly what it did. It did. I would have been lazy. I would have been a Boolean file over there. It would have been so ugly. And so that is pretty cool because it gives that. And now I have only what? What does it say? SHA. Okay. Why? Oh, my mistake. Oh, but that's my mistake then. Yeah, I don't think it will have worked because of it's two different types. So the thing wouldn't have worked. Interesting. Epic fail of my part. AI was right. I was the one hallucinating. So the reason why he didn't do, he did kind of think is, so he was nice, yeah. The AI was, has empathy here. Say, well, you ask me to create this cool function of hash file with a path and the enum there. I'm going to create it, yeah, just to make you happy. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to branch it in two different files. Yeah, because in fact, this is a common code, but as soon as I come here, I cannot reuse, I cannot do a switch on this guy because this is another type than the other, than the 512. And I don't think it's dynamic dispatch, yeah? So it wouldn't, I don't think it would make sense there. Yeah? So that's why you had these two. So in fact, I would go there and I was like, well, I get it. I wasn't smart enough. Restore. Boom. Done. You were right the first time. I'm the one being silly here. Yeah, to say this little guy is creating this whole thing was silly. Yeah. So did it right? I was wrong. So and that is the thing. And it's like with team member. Yeah, I have a developers and stuff. I've been coding and stuff. And then sometimes, they keep asking question, and it's like, I get frustrated. And in fact, often they are right. And I'm the one missing stuff, or sometimes they are wrong. Yeah? It doesn't really matter who is right or wrong. Yeah? The job is good engineering. Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. So this is awesome. So that is good. So now the question is, do I want to do unit test on this guy? And this is where, when it's creating files and stuff, it's always a pain. I have a TMP stuff over there, but it's always I should, but we're going to put that on off right now. We're going to assume the code is so simple that I'm not sure and stuff. About unit testing, this one could go either way. My take on unit testing is unit is not about the percentage of test coverage. Everybody that says that is either product managers that coded a long time ago, but get confused with blog posts and everything. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. The thing that matters is, and I'm never happy with the amount of what I test. I always want to test more. Yeah. So I'm not trying to explain my laziness or my lack of testing. The thing I'm saying is to say it's not about the percentage of test coverage, it's about the percentage of code that can break. Yeah. And so that is what we need to test. Does this code could break? Perhaps, the file location and stuff, but this one is basic. The one that would break will be much more the the commands, the Lua scripting bindings, because that I do path resolve and everything, and I want to make sure that I do the same path resolve as the other guys. So that is probably one thing that I will more test rather than testing this one where I will be testing the library. I mean, these guys are better than me. I'm happy with them. You know, the Blake guys and the SHA-512, you know, they are good. Yeah. And I will be testing their stuff more than my stuff. So on this one now, so we did the support. So that's cool. And I'm going to do a git log. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. I'm going to uncomment that guy. And comment that guy, I mean. So Clippy Clean is going to come. Yeah. It's going to tell me nobody is using that, which I'm okay. Okay. I'm making sure that I'm exporting both. Yeah, Copilot. Amazing. So I'm making sure that I'm exporting both. This one has 9. Yes, okay, it has about twice as much as that. I don't know why it's not an even number of both, but that's fine. Oh yeah, because it has 2 more. And so I'm going to close that guy. This one is guy. I don't like the noise, but I'm fine for now. Git log, git amend. And then here's the thing, and obviously if you do it by hand, all response, but I'm doing it like that. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say squash to parents. Okay? That's my practice, okay? It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to reward slow. And then I'm changing that. Sometimes it does error. I don't know why. Okay, boom. So now I'm happy. I have these kind of things. I'm actually in a good place. And I did the dot. So I did that because I didn't add to the library. It's just internal stuff. So I'm happy with that. In fact, I will do S main and I will merge this one. Because no matter what now, I didn't break anything. Actually, I'm sorry because I didn't break anything. I didn't break anything and I'm happy. So I'm going to do a git s switch, alias for switch, nx, and then file. Yep. I'm back to the file now. So, and usually I don't do a branch for everything. I just do branches for stuff. So this session has been a little bit long, but you know, the problem with I mean, not the problem. It's cool. By the way, everybody, if you want to join the on MS Team live, if you prefer to have live question and stuff and show live, you can go there, and that you can join the Microsoft team live. So now I'm going to hide that. I don't really need that. And now I'm going to want to, and I'm going to actually, and that is just me. I don't like all the warning noise. And I'm going to do a git C. And then now we're going to implement. So I'm going to do a plus. So here I'm being optimistic, okay? I'm doing a plus, and then the goal will be to merge all the people below it to this guy. So this is a practice that I've been maturing a little bit. So this one is AIP, file, hash, okay? And that's fine. You know, some people will say, well, why you don't put them? Like for me or for the team, this we know, we say, okay, it's plus mean you add something, and we added the hash, whatever behind. And then when I do the notes or my little cool image and stuff, I can use these kind of things. So I know what's going on in my commits. So now that we have that, I do a git log. So I should be after main here, perfect. And what we want is we want to add that to the thing over there. So I have the file AIP. Yeah, so AIP underscore is, again, is redundant in a way, but that's fine because it's my, and here I decided to not have AIP prefix. There would be an argument to have the AIP prefix because now I'm going to have file hash, I guess. So I'm going to have, should I have file? No, I'm going to have only one for both. So I'm going to have mod file hash. Okay, following the other patterns. And I'm going to create that. This is cool. Then I'm thinking right now, I don't want to cut it by hand. And the reason why I don't want to cut it by hand, I'm going to show you why, is because when we code this binding stuff, I'm using the doc of my Rust to generate the markdown doc for my website and even for, because in fact, the doc of AI pack is in a pack, a pre-installed pack. So you can use Coder to call AI pack. So everything is recursive. And so there's a whole practice here, convention that I have across all of these files that has these kind of things where I put, the list of functions like that. So it allows me to very quickly check everything I have and things. And then for each one of them, I describe here. It's a little bit too verbose. I want to cut it a little bit, but it's pretty deep and it's give a good thing. And I want to optimize it, but that is a great thing about AI. AI is amazing at that. Now, the thing here that I'm going to do is, so I don't want to create this one by hand. I want it to look at one of the other guys and then use that. But I want it to use the hasher guy. So that is where I go to my context graph. This is always the case, okay? These two guys are always there. And then I'm going to give the support files there. I could be smarter if I wanted to. And just put, let's try that. Hash. Okay, so I'm just giving this guy, sorry. I'm just going to, it's glob, yes, so I can use a cool glob stuff. So I'm going to do support files, and I don't need to give common. I'm going to give the hash kind of things like that. It's going to be interesting because he already had the mode over there. Yeah. And so now that I have this, there's another file I want to work. Okay, so now I'm going to show for people that are patient here and staying here, which is amazing. Here's the thing that goes to my head. It's like, hey, it's cool because now I might have multiple iteration. These guys could be a little bit big, this one stuff. So what I can use here is a working globe files. Working globes will always be after. Most of the caching guys, and even Claude, and I support all the AI, all the major AIs. So with Claude, it's kind of explicit caching. It's kind of a little bit of pain, but I implemented it, so it caches it behind the scene. And for OpenAI, it's implicit. So they check at the beginning of the prompt, all of the whatever message system instruction. And then they check, I think, every 1,000 or 124, whatever. And then they compare it to what they already have tokenized. And then everything that match, they're going to take what they're tokenized, and then they're going to tokenize the rest. And then you save 80% or 90%. It's some or 50%, 50 to 80% kind of cost. It's pretty cool. So the trick here all the time, if you look at the best practices, is always where you want to put the things at the beginning. And with code is important, yeah? Because if you go again and again and the guy doesn't give you what you want to be able to iterate on things. So this is where we're going to do, what we're going to do is to say, hey, we want it. So the working globes is always going to be last. So what we're going to give is to say, hey, we're going to give this guy, and then I'm going to give, in my head here, I'm thinking MD. Yeah. So the MD is going to be very cheap. The MD is very small. Well, I might give common here. I'm checking out a little bit. Common has more use cases. Well, drag and then shift. Boom. So I'm giving that in the context globes. Sometimes you can put a context globe and work there, but if I work there and I'm not happy, I don't know how the globes, and I couldn't keep the order here. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense. So I don't know the order of the thing, but I know that working globes come after. So in the working globes, I'm going to put what I want to change. And what I want to change is this guy. Yeah. So in fact, to make sure that I don't mess up the thing, the safest way is to drag and drop this guy there. Again, someone was saying it's vibe coding. This is definitely not vibe coding. Yeah. We show that to anybody, they will explode. And then now is, I would say, following. So make sure that, oh, fair enough. Okay, I will add it. Following, git add, and git c, and we're going to do the tilde here. Git log. Yeah, I'm going to do a tilde because I'm going to collapse them to this guy. So I'm going to do a git c. It's a alias tilde working on AIP file hash. Okay, just for me. And then I make sure that everything and there's no more green. And then I say following the file command patterns, implement the file hash .rs, and it should, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't confuse with the other one. I'm going to give them that. For all of the APIs, new APIs, and I'm just going to give some example, AIP, file, hash, SHA, 256, path. And then I'm going to the chef, and then I'm going to show it B64, B64, U, B58. And then, yeah. Following the stuff, and I say, make sure, use the support files, file, hash, dot. Boom. There, happy, before 5 cents, not too bad. This guy. So usually in the test, here's the thing I will do, I say, do not create the test for now, okay? So I don't always do that, but in this case, I think it's good, is create the thing, it's already enough like for you to staff. Don't create the test, we'll create the test later. Yeah. So that is what I will do. And then I will do a R. So one thing I'm going to try to do here, every time I'm saying, well, I'm going to do the thing is 1 hour and stuff, and then I explain a lot. So I never know if I explain too much or not. Feel free to ping me on Discord or here or publicly. Either way, if you have any feedback on this live, what you like, what you don't like, do not hesitate to say me in any forum. I do not care. Yes, we all have the same passion. So just tell me nicely, say, hey, this is good, but it would be good to do less explanation or, go faster to the code or this kind of things. Yeah. And even for the members and everybody that are looking after the live, feel free to drop a comment or like ping me on Discord and wherever you want. Yeah, it's even an email or whatever. And so usually when I respond about a technical question, I like to do it in a public forum, such as everybody can benefit. But if you have feedback, I'm always happy to do the things. And then if you have companies that want to have help on, Rust production coding or stuff, if you work, I don't work for individual because that wouldn't work with my personal, business. But if you have companies that need to have an architect as a service or someone help them boost their productivity, feel free to put me in contact. Even if it's a, one-on-one talk, I'm more than happy to share the things in a call. Okay, so this one, so sometimes it's a little bit long here. One thing that I do in Procoder, which is pretty cool, if you go there in .cache, I'm showing you what I'm sending back, and it's pretty nice. So here I'm showing you all the knowledge files. So knowledge files is, oh no, yeah. This is the experimental mode here that I'm working with. So what's happening here is that it sent a search request, and then it messed up something. Yeah, it did the thing, and then there's one of the search here. Yeah, this one. Kind of pain. So this is why it's an XP flag, and basically what's happening here is that it's going through, and then the AI didn't really follow my prompt. This is a me problem. I'm going to fix it. This is why it thinks. This is why and moreover, in this case, we didn't need. Actually, here, he did the right thing. Okay. We created the file here. Yeah, so that's not, is that bad or bad? Oh. Okay, so I don't like that. I go back, never hesitate to do that. And then I'm going to go back here, save, so that should be fine. Okay. So back. So this is why, again, it's super important. Always make sure you do your stuff. You commit before, clean commit before. And then so there's two things here. One, it's getting confused. So make sure you follow the file command. Getting messed up a little bit. No, I don't know why. So here, for example, I say, so I'm not going to give it file command. I'm going to give it file JSON. I think this might be a better one. Okay. How much did we lose? 5 cents. No big deal. That is cache. Now the problem is we're going to run it again, and it's not going to be cache anymore because we changed the file here. So that is a thing. Go back there. Why is it? Why is it? Oh, okay. And then I'm going to go back there and do a run. So the way it works is it goes through the files, it kind of updates them, and then it saves them. And then the last one is the one that caused problems. So it did not update the file. So that was okay. Any question, Aditya, while we're waiting, or anybody? Feel free to ask any questions. I don't know how many stay here or how many just join. What we're doing right now is we're adding this API, aip.file, which is a Lua API with hash, SHA-256, Blake 3, and everything. The live stream is public, then it goes to these mods here, depending on the timeline. So that is what we're doing for the ones that are just jumping in. And I'm going to leave this one unlisted for probably the weekend or whatever. I leave it more for 12 hours, more than 12 hours, but just for you to jump. Why are bash hash algorithm? This is a super good question. My God, it's okay, that's fine. I think. Okay, so here's is the quick thing. I'm going to answer your question. A super cool question here up that I have there. That is a very good question. Just curious, why are hash algorithms important for AI coding agents? I'm going to answer that, and it's going to do the thing. Quick one here. Here's create a lot of compiler. I could roll my eyes and it's like, this guy didn't understand anything. He didn't do stuff. But actually, he did pretty good. The only thing here is this guy didn't do good. But if I go toggle the type, it's a string, which is good. And it's always tricky to create a string in Lua for whatever reason it is. And in fact, I think the right way is, every time I get confused about, I think it's something like that. That's something like that. I need to look at it. This is one thing is every time I have the thing, I always, I don't know why this, and every time I say, oh yeah, I don't need to do something about it. And why? It's a city one here. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay, good. So now that I found that, stuff, I'm going to answer this question here. Just curious, why are hash algorithms important for coding AI agents? This is an interesting one. I could have delayed this one and things. But here's the thing, is when you are processing files. So one of the cool demos that we've done, I think I have a teaser somewhere or whatever, and I need to. I'm a little bit cautious about not posting too much about AI Pack on my YouTube Jeremy Sean channel because sometimes people that hear Rust don't like it. But if you go, I have I think a little teaser video on this guy, which is a webinar that we did last time. Oh, I didn't have. I thought I have the teaser. Where did I put the teaser? Oh, perhaps I put it on my YouTube. But we basically reduce big files of all of the Alchemy doc from 150 megabytes to below a megabyte. And so we have this process and thing. And sometimes when you process big files, you want to know if you already have processed it. Yeah? You don't want to change a data or something to AI if this data has been already processed. And so one of the great way of doing it is you put it as a string or byte array or file, and you get your hash. And then once you have the hash of the thing, you know if that content has been processed already or not. So one of the things which is important now is that because AI Pack allows to process data and everything, these little things is very important. So one thing I've done sometime is, and this is experiment, but I kind of parse the files, the page for interesting contents. And then I have this content JSON. But then I don't want to add the content JSON if it's already added somewhere. And so that is where the hash kind of comes in, because now I can hash a file, hash a string, and say, hey, I store it somewhere in a JSON or a new line JSON or whatever. And that gives me everything that I have already processed. And then after I can check if this guy has been processed or not. So this is very advanced in a way. I'm being proactive because I already had this library and things and I wanted to do that. And so that is why it's important. But it's for very it's relatively advanced use cases. But now with AI Pack, you have the possibility of having temp files, temp directory, so you can store your new line JSON. And that will be persistent as long as the user doesn't quit. So now every time you do things like, for example, one thing I want to do is you give, so that is my goal now. And that I think a lot of people always say. You should be able to go there and do this and come back there and you say AIP, run, something like that. Yeah, pro at Rust 10x / make AI doc stuff, I input, and then this URL. Boom. And that would be an agent that says, oh, okay, you give me the URL, I go there, oh, it's credo.io, I know it. I'm going to look for, because now there's all the get, I get the select and everything, so I can select the thing without asking AI, yes? I can select the Git repo, I can go to the Git repo, I say, okay, it's GitHub or whatever, and then I get a Git post, and I can clone into the temp folder in Pack support guy, and then I can process the file. But guess what? I don't want to always process a file that has already been processed. So if I can keep a very cheap string per file, then I don't have to reprocess them and resend them into AI. So it's pretty advanced, but it allows to do very powerful things. So this is the reason why. So now we've done that. So hopefully I answer, Kinglo. Tell me if I answer and always ask. I love questions. And then I do this. And so this is why I didn't get mad at AI here. Yeah. Anyway, I owe it once for before. So now I can go there, and I think I can do Command L, which would select all of these guys. And because he was hopefully, Command L, select all of these guys. Replace that. Press save. Boom, 0. Then he's telling me is CD. Clippy is don't be silly, which I understand is an okay and stuff. And then I do Command Shift L to select all of these guys. Select Command Shift. How do I go? I think it's fine because it's the same number otherwise. Should be fine. Boom. Yeah. So I did that to everybody. So now I'm back to normal in Julia. The reason why we're having Julia, and this is interesting. I mean, we're all geeky for here anyway. it is because while Lua engine is within our binary, so technically they share the same memory space in a way, it's a different runtime. Yeah, I mean, it has its own garbage collecting or whatever, and it has his own way of storing string and everything. So it's actually internalized the string, I think, and all of these kind of things. So when you have an object, a string, you have to say into Lua, and you have to give the Lua engine, the one that you are running there, because it has to put it into this Lua engine to be used within this context. Yeah. So otherwise it doesn't see it. So that is what is. So there's a little bit of duplication going back and forth. This is why we're doing this API. And so I think that's it. And it gives the whole thing there, which is super cool. Now, the thing I don't like is that it didn't add. Well, I don't. Oh, okay, cool. Fair enough. He didn't add the init because he didn't know the init business. Yeah. Well, yeah. The problem with AI pack, yeah, without the K is a touchy feeling there. So, but I like the name. It started like that, and I think it's a good name. But yes, it doesn't know, and then without the K, it's getting a little bit sensitive. So, oh wow, oh, you make my day. That's cool. Okay, ChatGPT is awesome. So he's saying here, do I have the comment? Yeah, I asked ChatGPT about AI packs. I'm new to this, and he recommended one of your video. This actually make even my week. So anyway, so I have yes, no vibe coding. But vibe coding is good. You know why it's good? Because one, it makes people hit the wall faster. So that's good. Now, there's going to be more people hitting the wall, but the wall doesn't care, and we don't care. And then the second thing is it actually put pressure on model providers to make their model much better at coding. So my theory, and we might all be wrong, but if good engineers like us, engineers, and even if you are new in the programming, people that like engineering but completely embrace AI, yeah, the problem is the people that roll their eyes. You cannot drive forward if you roll your eye. It makes good YouTube videos. Yeah, it's, oh, you know, I tried that, it failed. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, okay, so try something else. Yeah. So AI is here, had changed the way, embrace it and see what works, doesn't work. If AI pack works, great. If Ada works, great. If Cursor works, great. Stuff. Be in control, focus on good engineering. The percentage of what is written by you or the AI doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is it good engineering? Will it scale with users and features? That's it. Yeah. Everything else, is good for YouTube views. And so going back here to this guy, so I'm happy with that. And what I'm thinking slow. Yeah, okay, cool. Git log, I have this working on a high pack file. That's fine. So I'm going, and then the one below should be the official one. So I'm going to amend that. I'm okay with that to amend. I don't need to keep the delta. I'm actually pretty happy with the delta. Added, so that is, I don't know how to remove that. Again, I'm not rolling my eyes, but this is kind of frustrating. Google Gemini likes to add comment to what is done on these things. And the funny thing is that then on the next one, he will remove its comments of what he did. So while commenting is great, and the fact that he had comments is amazing, this like, hey, I did this, I did that, and like, who you are to like pollute my code. So, but I haven't found a way. I tried to put it in the prompt. I cannot make that go away. So again, always focus on the net value. This is a little details. It's funny and stuff. I don't roll the eyes. So I'm going to do that. So now I'm happy about it. Now what he didn't do is, look, I have the init, and this is where I do all of these things. I mean, I should make a macro to make this stuff faster. But you see, I have all of these bindings. This is the way you do. You need to clone runtime and things. And then I have the load save and all of these kind of things here. So I want to update that, but I don't want to update it manually, obviously. So now what I'm going to do, but he couldn't update it because I didn't give it to it. So now I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to put in working globe actually, because this way I'm going to try to, and this might be a long time here, but I'm going to try to, oh, look at that, cache pretty good. Oh, things are caching well. And so Google Gemini is becoming better at caching, so that's pretty good. And then I'm going to drag and drop. What am I going to drag and drop? I'm going to, so that is a file hash. Is the one that is the init, sorry. So that is init. And then there's another change, but I'm going to do manual again. And this is where we're going to win. Right? The prompt guys, because they don't understand what to generate, the only things they can change one line of code is by prompting. So if anybody understands that, and I know CEOs, they like to go to YouTube channel and say, this is not going to be coders and stuff. And engineering change, no brainer about that. Yeah, so it's a new world. But saying that people won't need to understand any line of code to generate big code base and big system is kind of weird. Yeah. But, you know, I don't believe in truth first. I believe in proximity. So they might be, I don't know, they might be right. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, CEOs, they are ex-product managers and people that didn't code and got frustrated with developers. So sometimes it's a little bit wishful thinking. And so that's my take, but I'm obviously biased a little bit. So in it, and now I say, okay, now. So now I'm going to give him, so the way that AI pack works, and that is the way that I like to work, is that it always starts with, I don't put anything in the history. Yeah. So even these guys, I'm not putting that in the history, the one below. Yeah. I just put what is on top when it's write mode. Otherwise, write false, I put the thing below. If it's write true, I don't put the thing below. And then I do this kind of thing. So now I can do, make sure you follow the file command. And I'm going to say, no, I don't want that, sorry. I'm getting a little bit tired here, but we're almost at the end. And then I say, the app init.rs. So I'm going to give him a little bit of context to know what is missing. Yeah? Now that we have done AIP, the reason why I repeat it is because I don't want it to confuse with the other guys that we did before on the support side. Can you? Okay. And that would be a pain. Yeah? That will take me, I mean, anyway, it would be a pain to do. And then stuff. And then I go back here, press R, then boom, it goes on it. Anybody want to ask a question? I think it's a good time. We're going to come in the end. I think Aditya kind of went to bed, I guess. It's getting pretty late for everybody. Anybody want to ask a question or anything, or jump into the MS team to ask last questions? Feel free to do whatever you want. Yeah. And again, for people the members that are watching that after, feel free to add comments if you liked it, if you didn't. I don't know if you watch the whole thing, but it's always good to have feedback to know what I can do better. But this session is pretty free form, free coding. And then now we're going to see that. It seems to be. So sometimes I go there and I click there. Often I do that first. I go there. That makes sense. I could have done a star over there. Yes, local models are supported, but they are they are slow. 2, they are mean with my computer. The fan is running. I mean, this is a joke, but the problem is you cannot really put them in parallel and everything. And 3, for their size, they are not that good. So when you want to do something confidential stuff, is good. But I think, and it's supported. I mean, it's dead simple, yeah. Because in fact, AI Pack is built on a crate that I maintain a lot, which is GenAI. So GenAI talks to all of the AI. And so the fallback name is Olama localhost. Yeah? So that's the way it works. So if you start with GPT or whatever, it goes to the right one, Gemini, and stuff. And then if it doesn't know, then it goes to Olama. So you could put here, whatever, Llama 3.1 or whatever it is, whatever you have here. I have the things there, yeah? So Olama list. So I could put that. But they are not. So here I have the small one because I use it for other things. This one is the Llama 4. This one was kind of a flop, I think. But yeah, for me, the return on investment is not there. And honestly, there is a great model. It's called Gemini 2.5 Flash. Super fast, super good, and it's virtually free. So like for me, is anyway, I'm passionful, emotionless. I don't care if it's big company, small company, if they have my code or not, because most of it is public. And anyway, except if you do something very secretive, you need to learn what you are losing by not using the best in class. Yeah. And so sometimes you lose a lot of time trying to tune up the prompt and stuff because you have a bad model. And so that is pretty good. So now over here, I have a pretty. So I do that, and then I check on the right. It created the whole file hash. Put them like this. Good. P64, SHA-512, SHA-Blake. I like the way you organize. Put it with my section here, which is fine, which is good. Well, the other one was not, but yeah. This is where, in fact, I'm a little bit OCD here. This will be the right way of doing it if I wanted. So sometimes I put region with it within a function, but sometimes I put this one, which is the next level down. And then I'm going to check that. Now you follow that. It's interesting. And then all of that. Pretty good work. Press save to make sure it compiles. Yeah. And that is as good as it gets. So this is awesome. So now, honestly, and we're not going to do it tonight because here it's already 2 hours or 3 hour session here. I don't know how to do smaller live. But the next step will be to try to do to test this one. Now, testing things in memory is always easy. Testing files is always a tricky part. Where do you create the files? What file do you name and everything? You can use temp files, but then it goes to a noise. Sometimes it's nice to check the files to see what's going on if it crashes. So it gets a little bit tricky. So usually I have this test data here, and I have this TMP. What do stuff? Sometimes I create that by hand because I use the opportunity to clean up a little bit the model. Yeah. And so I have test supports over there. So that is a pattern that I have. So the test support here is, so I have test files, and that allows me to generate a temporary test folder or D or file or whatever, and then create it and stuff. So usually what I will do here typically is I will probably, I don't need to create new files actually. I will just take the files that I already have in test folder, one of these guys. That means that once in a while, if I change a file, it will break the stuff. That's fine. I will I would get a break and I would say, oh, okay, I change it and I'm going to change. But at least that it can find the things. The trick here is to make sure that the API is not, the things that I will test is not to know if it hashed correctly. Because this is, it's not where I will break. Yeah. The things that I will test is that it finds the file correctly, that I can hash relative paths, absolute path, that I can hash a pack file if I want. Yeah, why not? And all these kind of things that all of this path business kind of work well. Yeah. That is what I would do. And then, if it works on one, it will probably work on everybody else. So I wouldn't do a test for each one. So this is why, again, if I use AI to do that, it's going to create me too much code, which is going to be hard to maintain, a little bit easier with AI, but still a pain. And it's not going to add a lot of value. It's going to make me feel good because I say, oh my God, I added, test function for like 20 different hashing stuff. Well, it doesn't really matter in my case. Yeah. So that is where I will spend a little bit time to do it and then manually and then as the AI perhaps. So that is a way that I balance out AI with production coding. Today, we did quite a bit of manual coding, and sometimes I do much more with AI. But today, we did a kind of a mix of the two. So hopefully, that was a good session. So what I will do right now, just to close the thing, I will do a cargo test, but we didn't add any tests. Yeah, so the thing is going to be thanks. Yes, developing AI pack. With AI pack is funny. Yeah, it's a whole thing of stuff. I mean, it's and we're going to do quite a bit because I'm going to add MCP. So I created another crate. And that I'm going to talk about this is also in some of us. Agentic is one I'm creating. And that is a MCP and eventually A2A, client, server, and all these kind of things. And that I'm going to use that in AI pack. That will allow AI pack to have a good Lua API to call any MCP, as well as being an MCP server. And then things become super powerful. Now, the trick is, at the beginning of MCP, there's a beautiful thing about of Agentic, is the amazing guys of Anthropic MCP, super smart. First, thank you for choosing JSON RPC. That is, finally, people are going there. And then second is they have all the aspects in TypeScript. And TypeScript is a great language to express JSON types because it's concise and it's very clean and stuff. So simple types, because it can get complex, but if you use it the simple way, it's very good. And so I took the whole thing, and in fact, I'm going to go there. So I took, here's my crate agentic. Yeah. And AI pack all the time. And then I had the MCP doc. So I went to the staff and I downloaded the MCP doc. Yeah? And beautiful, I mean, it's beautiful doc. I mean, I will hug the people that did that. Yeah. It's exactly like I like it. It's like cool because you have the whole spec there. Beautiful. And then I had another README here that I took because of stuff. And then in my AI pack, you can see that in my coder prompt, oh, no, but before I had this. Now I don't need it but before I say, hey, take this all in your knowledge. And I say, create the thing. And he created the things, but the way he created it was too dogmatic. So it was dogmatic, but it was not ergonomic. So my joke is, it's idiomatic, but it's a little bit idiotic. Yeah. So I keep it in MCP1 actually, some module, and I did a MCP2, and then I did a MCP3, and then my MCP3, I actually mix and match my stuff, and then I ask AI to complete it and everything. So this one is a final, the MCP3, which is now MCP, obviously. And so I created the design with a spec by hand, and then I look at what AI created before, and then I created it the way that I like it, with the pattern I like, and then I had AI like continuing adding stuff. So yeah, I created a lot, but again, it was controlled, it was designed by me. I give it one go, I give it a chance. And the amazing stuff, he created code it was the same number of files, kind of, everything compiled. But the problem is, again, the API was not really idiomatic. Now, the cool thing about this is, I don't know if I have an example, but it's this one, and it's as simple as the TypeScript API. Client Studio, protocol, connect, send your request, list tool params. You can send other param stuff, and then you get the list, and then you can print the tool names. So super ergonomic, super happy with that. It's come, more work to come. And I will probably do videos here where we're going to add to that, make the server, make sure that we support SSE, and all these kind of things. So that is going to be pretty cool as well. So now, just to complete this one, git log, I will go git amend, git log. We did a cargo test, I think, before, everything passed. And I'm going to do a fork because I'm lazy. I don't want to do things. I'm going to squash it to parents. So the funny thing is when there's only one selected, it's under the menu. And I'm going to say, up, rebase. I delete the tilde, don't need. So that's why I like the tilde. Sometime in my commit list, you will see tilde, sometime down there. But usually I like to remove them, squash them. Stuff, everything good. Up, git s, main, git log, git merge nx, file hash, git log, and git push origin. Boom, push there. The thing I like to do when I do coding here is I like to have my 0.7.13-whip, such as when you go to the repo, you know what is a release commit or when it's work in progress. Like in this repo today, I did a mishap that you see that you've seen at some point. So I had two. Oh, I didn't tag it. I'm going to tag it. I had two commit here, and I'm sorry I cannot make that bigger. The plus doesn't work, but I had two commit here, and in fact, this one git log. So that is when I updated. And that is when I did the first things where I was happy, but then there were a bug here, which I fixed. So that is the release. So I'm going to, and I forgot to tag it. Git tag v0.7.12. This guy, boom, git log. It should be there. Quit GPO. Oh, no. Thanks. Okay. So thanks a lot for everybody for joining. Really appreciate it. And we'll do, this will stay unlisted for 12 hours, 24 hours for the people, again, that couldn't join and things. And then it will go 2 days, 3 days to early access and stuff. If you want to have a sneak peek at the public and stuff, you can go to the channel, which is for live JC, for live stream member only. You won't see the member only videos, but you will see this live stream for 24 hours here, because I don't put it public, because then if I put it public, then people get upset and then they unsubscribe. So I don't want to do more video for people to unsubscribe. So there's a balance here that I'm trying to jungle. Okay, thanks a lot. And thanks for the very cool feedback here. Let me know. It's thanks. Much more is going to come now, because I'm going to try again to do my live coding like I did a while back. And then, and yes, Kiglo and all this question, and Kiglo, your question is spot on and stuff. Until next one, happy coding.